Honor Doyle entered her 20s like a professional. On paper, she was thriving. Accepted to a respected college. Graduated with honors. Landed a decent job. Had a boyfriend her friends liked. A small apartment with a fern in the window. And a smile that still fooled everyone, including herself. She was living the life she'd been working towards since childhood. A life that looked safe. Controlled. Praiseworthy. But something was cracking. It didn't happen all at once. It started with a question that kept circling in her mind, whispering in quiet moments. Is this it? Not out of ingratitude, but out of quiet confusion. Because she was doing everything right. And yet, she still couldn't sleep through the night. Still checked her email at 2 a.m., heart pounding. Still played every social interaction back like a courtroom recording, analyzing, editing, criticizing. She was holding herself together with duct tape and post-it notes. Still smiling. Still showing up. Still sending the thank you notes, nodding in meetings. But underneath it all, she was fraying. The cracks showed up in places no one else could see. In how she always volunteered for extra work, even when she was drowning. In how she'd apologize when someone else bumped into her. In how she said yes even when her body screamed no. Sometimes she woke up feeling like she couldn't move. Her limbs heavy. Her breath shallow. Her mind spinning before her feet touched the floor. Other times, it was her chest tight, aching like grief with no name. She told herself she was just tired. That she needed more coffee. She told herself that maybe a yoga class would help. But yoga made her cry. She often sat shaking, no idea why. No words, just tears that had waited years to be heard. Her boyfriend asked her once what's wrong. She said, I don't know. He hugged her awkwardly. You're probably just stressed. And she nodded. Of course she nodded. She'd been just stressed since she was 6. One night, they had a fight. A small one. She forgot something important. And when she tried to explain how that made her feel, he said, why do you always take things so personally? And something in her went cold. Because deep down, she didn't know why. Why she felt like a small mistake meant she was unlovable. Why one forgotten text could send her spiraling into shame. Why every disagreement felt like an emotional eviction. She started pulling away. From him, from friends, from herself. Her performance at work was slipping. She missed a deadline at work. Didn't return calls. Stopped posting pictures with captions like grateful or blessed. And she began to fear something even more than failure. Being seen for the unlovable one she believed she really was. Not the polished version of her, but the real her. The one underneath the nice voice. The one who was tired, angry, lonely, lost, afraid. She tried therapy, sat in a room with soft lighting and answered questions with a smile. Her therapist said things like inner child and core beliefs. And Honor nodded along, taking notes like it was a lecture. But she didn't feel anything. She couldn't reach the part of her that was crying beneath the surface. Because talk alone couldn't unbraid what her body had learned. That love had to be earned. That neediness was shameful. That safety was a privilege she didn't have access to. And still she kept going. Until her body said no. At 26, she had what they called a health crash. Hormones out of balance. Gut a mess. Constant fatigue. Hair thinning. Weight up. Mood down. Every test said she was fine. But she wasn't fine. She was unraveling. And one night, alone in her apartment, curled up on the floor, she whispered something she hadn't dared speak aloud in years. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's wrong. She didn't say it to anyone. She barely said it to herself. But it hung there, raw, unanswered, holy. It was the first honest thing she'd said in a long time. She didn't know how to let go without falling apart. She went to bed that night, heart cracked open just a little wider than before. Not healed, not whole, but ready just barely to stop pretending she was okay. End of part 3. This is a fictional story created to illustrate the emotional landscape of childhood and the silent questions we carry into adulthood. It is not based on any one client or person.
Thank you for watching. Please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe.